Hi everyone. I haven't made one of these videos in quite a long time, but I've been looking forward to diving in and actually explaining some of what I've been doing. So I figured 53 equals probably a pretty good grid to look at. Most of you with I don't know, there's not that many of you out there, but those of you who do have a Lumatone or who have instruments that can play this many notes have probably looked into 53 already. It's one of the best grids out there. It's one of the most accurate equal temperaments. It's one of the most easy ways to represent JI without warping it, making it. It feels pretty. It feels pretty damn close to JI, but it simplifies things greatly. It might seem like a whole bunch of notes to some of you, but yeah, the deeper you get into JI, the more you realize this is a great simplification. So I wanted to go through what 53 does as a temperament, and yeah, share a little bit of some stuff that I've learnt, some cool chords, some shapes on the keyboard, and some of this is in my book, but not all of it. So why don't we start with, it's basically Pythagorean. It's like very, very, very close to pure. If we look at the fifths, they're like within 0.1 cents. Like they're insanely near just. So the third harmonic is basically right in tune. Second harmonic obviously is in tune if you keep your octaves pure. So in 2 and 3 are pure, we get all of our Pythagorean ratios from C. We get G, D, A, E, B, keep coming up the fifths. And if we go to 12 fifths, to B sharp, which you get against, obviously it's not C. There's B sharp, and there's C. So we've got this little comma here. 22.5 cents, 22.6 cents. So obviously it's our Pythagorean comma. It's the difference between any two notes that are 12 fifths apart. So B sharp to C, C to D double flat, but also anywhere else in the scale, G sharp and A flat, G flat, F sharp, E flat, D sharp. These are pairs that we come across all the time, and we can hear it's a big enough pitch difference that it sounds like two notes, especially if we're high enough up. You can sort of feel the speed of the beating there. But if we get down really low, it might feel like one note. Like on a honky-tonk piano, we got two strings that are tuned pretty close together. So we could have like a major chord, we could have a B flat major chord. Oh, is that right? No, it's not right. Sorry. Which feels almost passable. But that's not how I like to use these commas. The way that I like to use this comma is to show that pitch difference. So if we're starting on, let's say C, we're starting in this kind of natural land. Modulating up to the sharps. Got all the way up to that B sharp. Can I show it against C? That's where I've come from. Complex relationship though. This is like 3 to the power of 12, which is an enormous number. It's like, what is it, 531,441? I might have that wrong. Some big number anyway. So that's one way to use it, but it's not the main way. The main way that I use it is to approximate the 5. So in 53, even though it's a fantastic Pythagorean system, if we start looking at approximations of prime 5, C to E doesn't give you a 5 to 4 major third. 3 to the power of 4 gives us 81, so 81 over 64. It's quite bright. I mean, it's not far away from where it is on the piano, where it is on the guitar and all that, but it's not the sweetest we can get. So if we drop that note by a comma, hear it locking in. So to me, that's much more mellow, much easier to use if we want a stable harmony. That means every time we have a major chord, drop the third by a comma, drop the third by essentially 12 fifths. Instead of using the A key, use the B double flat key. Instead of using the E key, use the F flat key. But it gets kind of out of hand once we get into like ridiculous keys, like in G flat major. What is this note? It's a C double flat, which is basically never used. I'm just thinking of it as a B flat, but it's down a comma, a down B flat. So it's a down major third away from where we were. A down major third gives us our 5/4, and a down major third is how many fourths? From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fourths away. Could have also done it in fifths, right? If we're looking at from here. If we're looking at fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it gets all the way out the keyboard, but 8 fifths or 8 fourths gives us that relationship. So because the 2 was pure, the 3 was pretty much pure. Having the 5 this close, it's, 1 cent away? 1.5 cents away? 384.9 instead of, 386.3? So it's like, 1.4 cents away. My ears can hear a tiny bit of beating, a little bit of like this gentle undulation. But it's not a lot, and I think it's quite pleasant most of the time. So 2's pure, 3's pretty much pure, 5's only a cent and a bit away. So if that's our major third, then our minor third is the complement of that. If we've got C to down E as a major third, then down E to G is a minor third. So from C, that would be, instead of C to F flat or down E, C to D sharp or up E flat. Gives us our 5 to 6 minor third. So if I'm thinking of relative majors and minors, that's the relationship I'm thinking in. Not just this one that we get on the circle of fifths, but this one here. Because that's the one that sticks in a chord, right? If we're in C major, we're going to use that down E. If we're thinking 5 limit, obviously, this is assuming 5 limit. And if we're modulating to that relative minor, then we're on that down A. So it's like 5/3 from where we started. If that's 1/1, 5/4, 5/3. So if we're building out like a tonality in the key of C, I'll go back to C just because it's a little easier to think of. There's our major chord on the 1, so 1/1, 3/2, 5/4. These are JR relationships that are very, very close, right? If we're on our 5 chord, we got 3/2. Times that by 5/4, we get 15/8. And our fifth of the fifth, 3/2 times 3/2, we get 9/4. We can bring it down 9/8. So our 1 chord and our 5 chord, we put our 4 chord in there, 4/3, 5/3, and 6/3 is just the octave again. It's just 1/1, 2/1. So we put that all together and we get which is a bit much as 1 chord. There it is. There's the 1 chord, there's the 4 chord, there's the 5 chord, and together. It gives us a major scale that's not the one from the diatonic. It's not Pythagorean. The 3rd's been brought down because it's from the 1 chord. The 6th is brought down because it's the 3rd of the 4 chord. The 7's been brought down because it's the third of the 5 chord. Sorry for all the numbers there. This is the simplest tuning of the major scale if we're thinking in the 5 limit, and if we're tuning along with the drone. You can hear that 9th harmonic relationship. Third harmonic of the 3rd harmonic. Oops, sorry, color's coming up. Major 3rd is the 5th harmonic. Plain old pure 4th above the tonic, or a 5th below it, right? 4 over 3, 3 over 2, 5 over 3, which is actually simple enough to hear. Locking in better than, I like both of them, but they're different feelings. So this is the 27th harmonic. Sorry, some of these keys are a little dodgy. And this is the 5 over 3. It's the 5th harmonic of F, and C is the 3rd harmonic, 5 over 3. Even that 15th harmonic. If it feels complex, break it down. 15 is 5 times 3. Or we could do it the other way around. It's 3 times 5. It's both of them, right? So anytime you want to spell out a JI relationship, just break it down. 15 over 8, 15 is 5 times 3. So staying in that little world for a second, it's the 5 limit JI world of C major. We got C major, F major, G major. With that, it'll sound great over C, obviously. But if we go to the key of F, we've got Lydian on F, right? If we go to the key of G, we got mixed Lydian on G. The flat 7 of G, the 4, the 1. It all works pretty well so far. A minor or down A minor, we got Aeolian. The only problem here is in Aeolian, we don't actually have a 4th. We've got 5-3 to 9-8. We've got a comma above the 4th. We've got 20 to 27, right? A pure 4th would give us this note here. So, I mean, I like that in an extended chord. It's a beautiful 11th. But if we just want a melodic 4th, or a harmonic 4th, right? For a suspension or something, it's not usually the one we want to go for, especially if we flip it, if it's a 5th. This is the one that sticks out to most people. Even if you've got another 3rd on the chord, you can hide it if you play it quick enough. But if we stick on that, where are we? It's going to grate a little bit, eh? So that's when we probably need to add that note to our collection, right? We probably need a 10-9 from C. So we're growing out a little bit further from home. I've been doing all of this thinking about in JI, but it's basically JI, right? It's so close. Those thirds only a cent away. We haven't really noticed the difference. We haven't got any new pitches, and nothing's merged yet. Except, I guess, for if we think about where we started, the B sharp being a comma above C is also, like the Pythagorean comma is also the syntonic comma is 81 to 80. That's the comma we're using to modify our thirds. So that's our main comma that we're tempering out at the moment. The difference between the Pythagorean comma and the syntonic comma, which is a handy one, right? Syntonic comma is like 20.5 cents. Pythagorean comma is like 23 cents or so. So it's only a little micro comma. You can't really tell the difference. So where are we? Prime 2, prime 3, prime 5. Should we have a look at 7? If we're low enough down and we've got a piano timbre that's got a little bit of stretching on it, actually sounds pretty good. Sounds way better than a piano usually does, right? If we're up a little high, I mean, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad at all. And it's a lot better than a lot of tunings out there, but if we're expecting JI and we hear this sort of purity, you can notice the beating on that, right? Different levels of beating, obviously, but if we should get a 7 to 4 relationship, it should be at 969, right? We got 973.6. So we're about 4 cents sharp or so. It's not a lot, but it's more than this was. This feels noticeably more just to me than this does. So we got incredibly just a little bit noticeable with about a cent or a bit, and a few cents there. Altogether though, sorry, these colors keep changing on me. Sounds pretty damn good. So the 7 limit approximation is not as good as the 5, definitely not as good as the 3, but it's not bad overall. So how do we reach that 7? It's a comma down from a flat 7. So if the 3rd is a comma down from a major 3rd, the 5th is a 5th, the octave is an octave, the 7th is a comma down from the 7th. So we're just lowering the major 3rd, we're lowering the harmonics, or we're lowering the minor 7th to get a harmonic 7th. Straightforward so far. The 9th is just 2/3, and if we keep going to odd harmonics, the 11th is next. The 11th is where things get a little interesting here. We're expecting like a quarter tone between a 4th and a tritone. So it should be around 551, but we've only got options that are a little bit too flat. It's a little dodgy. And then an option that's a little too sharp. And it kind of depends on your aesthetic preferences. They're similarly far away. I guess this one's a little closer. This is 543.4 cents, so it's about, what, 8 cents, a little bit less than 8 cents away. And the other guy is 566, so about 15 cents away or so. But yeah, if you're feeling particularly bright, that's quite lovely. But if you're feeling a little flatter, you just get a smaller step there, right? If we've got 8, oh sorry, that key is not really responding properly, is it? 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. It's just a little bit of a smaller step. But I almost always would use this one. Because the other one to me starts to feel like a different ratio. Against the tonic, it sounds like a flat tritone. It doesn't sound like the 11th. There's more like an 11th sound. It's a little flat, but it's not a tritone and it's not a 4th. It's kind of, to me, it's like in between in that other bucket, right? Feels a little bit better up high. There may be this stretching here on the piano. I've got this on a natural, no, I've got this on 1.0, natural stretch. Shouldn't be too much. But I don't know, there's something in the consistency of these intervals if you look into the nerdy side of things. Sorry. Colors are putting me off here. So where is that interval? It's 2 commas above the 4th. There's the 4th, C to F, C to up 4. So it's 2 ups from F, double up F, which I guess is also what? 2 commas down from G flat. It would be here if I had enough keys, right? C to G flat, down G flat was the higher version, down G flat would be that 11th. So I've got it in pink here, just to show that it's, in between naturals and sharps. Almost always the violet keys in my mappings will be kind of in between. And it feels like, if we make a pentatonic with these, feels a little ambiguous, right? A little bit like 5 equal. So that's not the 7 that we're usually using. We're usually using this 7. So I'll get rid of these. Oh. Okay, those colors are not going anywhere. There we go. Alright. So if we look at the harmonic series so far, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A tiny bit flat. That's the one that we noticed the most so far. 12 is going to be the same as 6, is going to be the same as 3. And then 13 is going to be new again. 13 we're expecting 840, 841. So this is a little low. This is a little high. In between those we've got a pretty damn good approximation, 837.7. So what is that, less than 3 cents away? So similarly good to the 7th harmonic, except the 7th harmonic was about 3 cents sharp. This one's about 3 cents flat. So together they're not fantastic. Sorry. But, you know, in a big chord, not bad. So there's our odd harmonics, right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 in degrees, or 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 in harmonics. Got a nice little crossover there. So everything's been uniquely represented, but you notice as we're getting to 5, we've got a couple of rows that we're crossing. 7, we're crossing a little bit further, sort of like vertically across the keyboard, right? And 11, in the key of C, way up here, it's way further away than anything else. 13 is close to the 11 row. So if we think about connections, obviously 2 and 3 are connected incredibly well. 3 and 5, 1 and 5, or 2 and 5 are pretty damn close. 5 and 7's pretty close as well. But this 11 is not connected to anything else so far. 11's connected to 13 when we get there. So let's move into a bit of a different key. If I'm up on... If I'm up on up D, the 7's not going to play for me because that C key's basically dead. 9. So where's our 11 going to be? Well, it could be another comma above G, but I don't have that key here. So instead, it's going to be... Have I got that right? No, another comma down. So it's not too far away from 7, right? It's basically... 2 or 3 rows below that, right? And then where would that 11 be? Oh, sorry, well, that's the 11. Where's the 13 going to be? It's going to be a minor third above that. So 11 and 13 give us a minor third, which is another little tempering, right? 11 to 13 is usually like 289 cents, but a minor third in Pythagorean, like this one, like anywhere, right? Because it's an equal temperament. 294 cents. So we've tempered that little difference. You can look up the ratio later if you want. But yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. And that's usually where I stop thinking about approximations of JI and just start playing. Because we've done enough maths work, right? So if we're doing minor sevenths, we're raising the 3rd and the 7th up. If we want that classic sound, we can extend the 9th, the 11th, the 13th. This all works by stacking thirds. There's that nasty 4th we were talking about before. But we're not hearing it as a 5th, and we're not hearing it even as a direct fourth. We're hearing it as an 11th, filled in with some other stuff. Which is not bad for me. I'm going to move away from C just because this middle C is not responding very well at all. So let's go to let's go to G. Let's go to down G minor. Sounds pretty good, but it's obviously far away from mean tone, right? You can feel that. The difference between the up notes and the down notes here, right? Especially that 11th. It's going to stick out for most people. So again, watch your voicings. If we're using fourth voicings, not too bad, but kind of need another one on top to hide it there. Versus if we're using some cleverer voicings, right? Voicings that are using the tuning as it is, right? So that's like F major on top of B flat major with a G at the bottom. Real pretty. So yeah, basically JI stuff in our minor sounds, in our, let's get our major sounds as well there. So this is down G major. We're going to lower that third, so we're going to down B because we're already in a down key. Lowering that major 7th as well. 9th staying. Lowering that 11th as well. Sharp 11, sorry. The 13th can stay because it's related to the 9th. It's related to the 5th. Related to home, right? Stack of 5ths in harmonics. 1, 3, 9, 27. And some folks out there like going further, right? So they would go. So we're getting E major over A major over D major over G major is a big old stack. Root 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, sharp 11, 13, sharp 15. It's not bad if you've got space for it. So there's some classic chords. Those are our classic major and classic minor extended a little. The harmonic we already talked about. So we could take that a little further. Let's take it into another key. Let's take it into, I don't know, G flat or something. So if we've got our harmonic 7th here, down E, or down F flat, I guess if we're thinking in that key, then we've got this lowered third as well that we can add for a sub minor. Sound pretty close to JI. So we're thinking 9-8, 7-6, 4-3, 3-2. Did I even play a 6? I don't think so. And a 7-4. If I was going to add a 6 in there, I'd probably add this one. Because you can hear it locking in already, 5-3. Which is actually all based on this series, right? Those are harmonics of this down B, 5th harmonic, 3rd harmonic, 7th harmonic, 9th harmonic, 10th harmonic. This is a little complex, but it's the 21st. It's the 3rd harmonic of the 7th harmonic, or the 7th harmonic of the 3rd harmonic. Might seem complex, but start putting them in chords. Areas can figure that stuff out, as long as it's not just a bare dyad, right? 16 to 21 is too complex for most people's ears, but this is fantastic. amount of those kinds of sounds here. So the tempering, the slight sharpening of the seventh makes it a little bit more accessible, makes those semitones just a little bit bigger. The 20 to 21, 21 to 20, I guess, is now a regular diatonic Pythagorean, so it's like a 90-cent thing instead of 80, whatever it's supposed to be. And this, the 27 to 28 in JI is like 62, right? 63 cents. It's like 67.9 here, so it's a little enlarged. So there's some, okay, too much talking about that chord. There's some 7-limit harmony, and obviously that means that in a 7th chord, the tritone between 5 to 7 that we didn't talk about yet, right? The 5 to 7 is just a regular, it's a regular diminished fifth, right? It's 2 minor thirds. So we get some other kind of weird tempering going on. We get 2 minor thirds, giving us like that crazy Pythagorean tritone 1024 over 729 for the math nerds out there. Is also the same as what? The 9th harmonic times the 5th harmonic, the 45th harmonic, 45 over 32, which is usually how I'd hear that note over the tonic. Beautiful sound. Or I guess. But now we're also saying that's also the same as 5 to 7. So G7 with a down B and a down F, harmonic 7, B, down B with a down F, 45th harmonic. What was the other one we said? That complex Pythagorean thing's not very easy to hear it. So we get this like triple identities happening. We've had 1 comma, right, so far that we're using, that we haven't tempered out. The 1 comma is the difference between the 7th harmonics, right, and the regular Pythagorean intervals. It's the difference between the 5-limit major third and the regular major third. And it's the difference between like a G flat and an F sharp. It's the difference between an F flat and an E. It's the Pythagorean comma as well. So the 3-limit comma, the Pythagorean, the 5-limit comma, the syntonic, the 7-limit comma, the septimal, like 63, 64. Those are all equated. And then I guess we can look even further at what that 11-limit comma would be. Well, it's 2 steps, isn't it? It's not just 1. But where's the 1-step comma? I guess it would be from 27 to 20. 27 over 20 to 11 over 8, and I don't know what that is off the top of my head. It's something that you've probably run into before if you know your temperament theory. Or this guy up to, let's say, yeah, there's a bunch of ways to look at it. We could also look at it as a sub-minor third, 7/6, and then, hold up, it's another 7/6. So 7 times 7, 49, over 6 times 6, 36. 49 over 36 is giving us the same note as 11 over 8. This is all well temperament. So small minor thirds are generating that. Not very accessible across the keyboard, but if you think about a regular minor third, and then you go down a rank every time, a regular minor third, go down a rank, you'll generate a wonky ass scale. But yeah, I don't know my OL scales well enough. That gives us another little place to jump around, and some pretty complex harmony there. Where are we going with this? So like functional harmony, obviously all the major chords you can just sweeten by bringing the thirds down. Minor chords sweeten by raising all the thirds and sevenths. Harmonic chords bring the 7th down, bring the 11th up 2 commas, bring the 13th up from I guess, up 2 commas again from minor. So the 13th and the 11th sit nicely close together. But as a comma framework, all the melodic intervals are really beautiful. All the thirds, right? Classic third. Pythagorean third. Even the super, right? Super major third. Even go another comma, right? Now it's almost feeling like a fourth, right? It's right in between. And this is where we were. And so in 53 here, 2 commas up from the third, the ultra major third is 2 commas down from the fourth, is the infra fourth. These are equated as well. And this gives us, what is that, semaphore, right? Is that right? No. No, I can't think about all the temperament stuff right now, but if we do equate those 2 notes, that's what I'm thinking about, semaphore. We're splitting the fourth with an ambiguous note. It's a note right in between D and G. It's a really low F and a really high E at the same time. So we start equating that, we get this semi-fourth. We get a very, very big major second or a very, very small minor third. And because it's an equal temperament, we've got these 2 options for mapping it on the keyboard. But these scales are really tough to get around because they're vertically quite demanding. But they sound really pretty. So it's not just a single comma anymore, like the 7th harmonic was, right? You hear Michael Harrison doing this kind of stuff in Revelation, right? But having 2 commas apart, right? It's quite grating, eh? Oh, sorry. So that's where we can turn this into basically a quarter tone system. We can basically treat it like 24. It's like a nicer tuned version of 24 equal, right? We've got, that C is not responding. Should really do things in different keys, but this is all for demonstration purposes. We got that quarter tone. We got a D flat or a C sharp, depending on what you like, which key you're in and stuff like that. We've got that quarter tone below D, quarter tone above D, E flat or D sharp, depending on what you like, quarter tone below E, E. So it actually leads to a really, really great grid for Arabic music. So if we know about rust, 1, 2, 3 should be pretty neutral. We've got a slightly higher intonation, and we've got a slightly lower intonation as well, which are, noticeable. It's the same comma size as before, but if you want to go more like old school Egyptian, low major, that 11 to 9 kind of feeling. Feels more like the minor, right? Or the newer school, the Turkish, Syrian kind of thing. Then we get those 2 neutral thirds. But what's nice is we can use that same idea for Bayati, right? With the higher E half flat, or this one works most of the time a bit better, unless you're dealing with Turkish folk kind of repertoire. The Anatolian stuff, generally we use that higher one. The Arabic stuff, we use the lower one. Uşak in Turkish makam would use the lower one as well, right? But sometimes we want to slide a little bit. We could. Should probably get off a piano sound, but I'm just going to demonstrate all this on piano. Yeah, we could slide around a little bit more as well. So quite nice flexibility here. It's like almost all the options work. You got a lot of melodic flexibility. Obviously, there's 53 interval sizes. It seems like a lot to memorize. It is quite a lot to memorize, to be honest. But I don't use a lot of them all the time. I won't use like this guy very often, the small tritone. Like this one I'll use all the time. This one I use quite a lot. This one I don't use too often. The small fifth, hardly ever use it. The doubly small fifth, like the sub fifth, I hardly ever use it. But if we go another step down from there, was that right? Yeah, felt like a bigger step than usual. That's our 9 to 13. So you can feel it kind of locking in. Quite pretty, yeah. So yeah, there's some complex intervals, like the octave that's reduced by reduced by 2 commas. The octave that's reduced by 1 comma even. It's probably just going to sound like an out of tune octave for the most part. You can air train all 53 intervals. Obviously there's that great air trainer out there, which is now available in all tunings you want. You can stick in any equal temperament there. For those of you that don't know about that, I'll put the link in the description there. Sorry, this is meandering a little bit far, isn't it? Modulation I should probably cover a little bit of before we wrap it up. It's been pretty long so far. Thanks for watching so far. So if we're moving around the keyboard a little bit, if we modulate, let's say by a major third, then we've basically shifted down 1 set of 12, right? If I started in G, now I'm in a down B instead of B. If I shift another time, right, I've essentially come, a quarter tone, 2 commas down. So if I want to go from there, it gets harder to think about where I am. There's no key down here for where I want to go. But if we can hear it, da, da, dee, where's that G going to line up with? Is it going to be, there it is, right? So sometimes I won't have a key on both ends because we've only got 56 keys and we need 53 plus all the inharmonics, right? So I might go 1, 2, 3, nope, 1, 2, 3. So I kind of expected it to be a B, right? I'm not thinking in this key very often. It looks like G major, it should be a B natural. That's why I went for this one that looked like a B natural. But really, can you see that all right? Yeah. But really, it looks like that B half flat that we were dealing with before. So we've come, let's say, from G to down B. Oops. Let's do it again. Now, of course, if we keep going, we'll eventually get back, right? We'll it'll take a very long time. We're still not on the natural road. So we got back to B flat. We started from G. How many times did it take us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get back around there. But it doesn't give us the same note, right? It's close, but it's not exactly the same. So there's obviously 53 is a prime number. It doesn't divide, doesn't give us any symmetries. So everything, every interval that you take as a generator gets us around every single key. Major thirds, there's 53 keys before you go through, that you go through before you come back home. Same for if you take a harmonic 7th, same for if you take the 13th harmonic. So it gets kind of weird. But what was my main point there is like, you're gonna get into different zones on the keyboard. So like knowing how to cross back over, thinking about where that anharmonic relationship is, you should be able to find most of the time you'll have, actually most of the time you won't have a doubled key. There's only 3 doubled keys here, but you'll have something that's close by. So if we go to a key that doesn't have a doubling, if I'm in this indigo D, expecting it to be up here, right? But I can go, let's say if I want this sub minor third, I want this down F, it's gonna be transitioning over the other side of the keyboard. There's a regular F, there's the natural, I'm bringing it down a comma. And almost every time you're flipping around to the other side of the keyboard, it switches to the other spelling. Like we were talking about before, this could have been doubly down F or doubly up E. There's an anharmonic equivalence, which looks like a half step. So where we just were before, this is D minor. It should have an F at the bottom, but this F's already so low that it flips around to an E when we bring it down. So this is down, down D, up E, down, down A, which is actually like triply down F. It's the same note, right? Anharmonic equivalence is crazy. So once you come down that far, you can kind of start thinking in other terms. We can think this is actually just 9/7 above a C. You can bring C in as the 7th harmonic if you want to come back. Oh, sorry. Or, for example, here, there's the 13th harmonica D. Here's a kind of weird cadence, right? The 5 chord, the 13th harmonic of the 5 chord, up to the major third of the 1 chord. So there's some cool like microtonal voice leading here. You could do totally by commas if you wanted. We could say this one's going to be weird. What am I going to use? I can't even think about what that note would be, right? It's not working for me. Okay, I missed out a good harmony there, but if we're almost doing it in commas, I'll just skip that note because it doesn't make sense to my brain right now. And then we can keep going if you wanted. Quite pretty, yeah. So we get all these different identities kind of intermingling, doing some really cool stuff. This has been a really long video. I should probably cut it here and focus a little bit more. Think about like maybe 1 or 2 focuses in the next video rather than trying to do everything. There's too much to talk about it in every single one of these tunings. So I've been working on a second edition of my book. That'll be ready very soon. I've been doing some editing on that for months and months and months, or actually years, but just kind of in the background. There's now links to everything. There's video links. There's way more links within the book. There's more updated diagrams with the new color schemes, updated fingerings. Actually, I wrote most of the fingerings out before I had a Lumatone, because I was writing this book like before 2020. I released it in 2020 and I only got my Lumatone. Would have been 2021, April maybe. Yeah, feels like it's been a long time. So yeah, looking forward to showing you a bit more about what that's about. And yeah, doing a little dive into each tuning. I'm thinking about making a video course that will go through the concepts in the book, and it'll show people the sort of stuff that I'm doing, so that you can think about it in the same way or similar way to what I'm doing, thinking about these tunings, improvising in them, getting free with all these tonalities and being able to move around. I probably won't go into all the detail of the nerdy temperament stuff all the time, because I know not that many people are into all the big numbers, but just like the extension of common practice, I think would be really cool to walk people through. And I think the big tunings that I'll hit first would be, obviously this is 53. 31 I did a little video on years ago, but I'll probably update that and do a bit more of a refined dive in there. 12 obviously is like a tuning that people think that they know, but it would be cool to actually show you how it works from a JI point of view, and from, if we've explored other tunings, like how it brings different worlds together. Those are kind of my big 3-4 common practice Western music, but we'll probably also do some simplified stuff in 22 and 27, some sort of like gentle stuff in the middle between Pythagorean and simplified in 29 and 46 and 63 and 80, but we don't have enough keys here. Anyway, I could talk for hours. This has already been 52 minutes, so I'm going to wrap things up there. Let me know if you've got questions. Let me know if you've got particular things that you want me to dive into. But yeah, I'm going to get busy making some video content. Some of it's going to be on YouTube, and I'm planning to make some courses that I'm starting to draft up now, and I'll probably put them on a video platform that people can just purchase the whole course and walk through sometime in the near future. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for watching, and tune in for the next one. Bye bye.